Hello, hello, hello again. It's Gigi from Gigi's Beauty Compound. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight I'm doing a special live. It's a special live because I just wanted to stop in, you guys, just talk about a very important topic, and I figured might as well go live. I think this is something that's very important to what's happening in the world right now, and it needs to be discussed. So, if this is your first time, welcome to Gigi's Beauty Compound. I am excited to have you here. Go ahead, pull up a seat, get your ice cold drink ready, prop up your feet, relax. Welcome. I'm so excited for you to be here. So, today I wanted to discuss about vaccinations. I know. A lot of people are very squeamish about talking about this subject. I get it. I understand. So before we get started, as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ding that notification button. I'll wait a few seconds. Okay, great. So, some of you have shared with me that you are not receiving the notifications of when I upload a new video. Well, I truly believe it's because you're not hitting that notification button. Hit that button and you'll be updated on every time I go live or upload a video. It'll be right there for you. It'll pop up on your phone. Okay, now, another thing I want to get out the way. I am not a medical doctor, physician. I do not work for any state or government health organization. I am a skin professional. I am a licensed esthetician in 2 states within the United States. And I just wanted to share something that I think is very important for the general public and also for us fellow service professionals. I want to start off by just sharing a little bit. I am fully vaccinated. I chose to get the Pfizer vaccine. It's been like a couple of months since I've had the vaccination. You may ask, why, Gigi, why did you decide to get the vaccination? Well, let me share. My dad, in the beginning of the pandemic, 2019, unfortunately, he had a very serious life-threatening bout with COVID-19, where it caused his body to shut down. He had he was developing kidney failure. His organs were shutting down. It was difficult for him to breathe. It was like a flu times 10, if that's the best way to describe it. So, with that experience that my dad had where he almost lost his life, it definitely gave me a different view and scope of the pandemic. I do want to say I was already concerned about the pandemic, but after my dad experienced that, and thank God he survived, COVID, he's back on his feet, he's healthy now. It was just something that has always been on my heart to make sure that I'm protected, as well as those who I am around and family members and loved ones. I don't ever want to experience, the virus in any capacity. And I also don't want to be a carrier and accidentally spread it to someone else. So that was one of the main reasons why I decided to become vaccinated. Another reason why I decided to become vaccinated is because I am very close with my sister, and she unfortunately was born with asthma and is a severe asthmatic. Knowing that I am going to be around her pretty frequently, pretty often, again, I did not want to put my loved ones and family member at any harm, hurt, or danger, any risk, because those who have pre-existing conditions, COVID to them is like a whole nother level of danger that you don't even want to think about. So I definitely did not want to cause that harm to, again, my family members. So, the vaccination process. I do reside here in Georgia, very close to Atlanta, and a friend of mine basically kind of inboxed me and said, "Hey, I know of a facility, that's doing the vaccinations. You should go ahead, schedule your, if you want to be vaccinated. Here's the link. Here's the location. Here's where you can get your vaccinations." So the location that was nearest to, I guess, my home, you can choose like one that's nearest to your home. But the location that I went to was near the airport here in Atlanta. And when you schedule your appointment, you look at the available times, pick a time slot, make sure you bring your identification. And after you sign up, they send you a code, which you can pull up in your email, and you'll need your identification and that code that they send you just for them to scan it, identify you, making sure you're not doing anything illegal where you signed up, but it's for someone else. They definitely check your ID. Of course, picture ID, they definitely check and scan that barcode. So my experience was basically it was a drive up facility. You drive up, the location had all kinds of military personnel were there available, checking IDs, checking for everyone's safety. It was like a very serious matter. I know, like when I was driving up to the facility and I saw all the military personnel, I was like, whoa. Of course, I knew that it was serious, but I just did not expect that much military presence when I went to get my vaccination. So after they check your ID, scan your barcode, they ask you a few more questions to identify you, and then drive up. And then there was like a tent with a bunch of nurses and doctors there, fully masked with the the plastic mask as well on top of the surgical mask. And they ask you, which arm you would like the the vaccination shot. And because I'm right-handed, for me logically I was like, well, I would like it in my left shoulder. um One thing that I did read about the way the vaccination should be administered is that it should penetrate a muscle. Of course, I'm not a doctor, so you want to ask a doctor why it has to be that particular area. But I can honestly say that a friend of mine who also got the vaccination, when hers was administered, she said she believes that it was not administered correctly, unfortunately, and she did experience some of pain, in her arm, after she got the shot. I thanks be to God, when I got my first shot, it felt like a prick, in my arm. And of course they sanitize the area, give you the shot, and then put the band-aid, and then you have like a little sticker that says I've been vaccinated type of thing. And then another good thing is when you drive, you know, I guess like around the corner on the same lot, they make you sit, park, and wait for 15 minutes just to see and make sure that you do not have any like adverse reactions or side effects to the vaccination. And so you sit there for 15 minutes, and then you drive off. And then you of course can go on the same site and schedule your final and your second vaccination, which I believe was a couple of weeks after the first one. Now, the first vaccination, when I got home, I became, I want to say, like groggy. I didn't experience some of the symptoms like others where they said they felt like some people said they felt like they were coming on with the flu and had to take off of work for a couple of days and that type of thing. I honestly did not have that experience. I just felt like I was just really tired. Um, I did feel a little bit of warmness like, my head area. So they do say that with the vaccination, it causes, your antibodies and everything to, kind of help to fight off any, potential, virus and disease. So those symptoms that you're receiving is basically your body just kind of getting used to the vaccination, and also making sure it's no threat that's into your body. So your body just naturally fighting, for you. And, I just remember I took a nap, like an hour nap that day, and, I was good. The second shot that I received, honestly, I had the same symptoms, but I wasn't as tired as the first shot. My second shot, I did feel a little tired. I did feel like a little bit of warmness in my head area, like kind of like a mild fever, but it wasn't bad enough or alarming. So I felt okay. Like, I basically want to just tell you what my experience was. I do feel very, very empathetic to those who had a more severe reaction, to the vaccinations, but thankfully I did not. I just felt, like I said, grogginess. I felt like a slight, very small fever, but after a couple of hours, those symptoms for me were gone, thankfully. After the vaccination, I did feel a lot more comfortable, traveling and, having guests over to my home and going more places, just kind of, hanging out, trying to get out more, excuse me, that type of thing. So I did experience that, but I did not go too crazy where I went to, like, I didn't go to, like, festivals where it was just like thousands of people on top of me, and I didn't go back to going to, like, a lounge or something like that where it was just so crowded where I felt uncomfortable. Like, even after the vaccination, mentally I just couldn't shake what happened to my father and his experience with COVID, his bout with COVID, excuse me. So I still was and am very cautious. You may also wonder if, after receiving the vaccinations, if I continue to wear my mask. The answer is yes. I continue to wear my mask even after my second dose. Reason being is because I do read and follow a lot of the health organization updates, such as the CDC and the WHO, World Health Organization. I do follow those updates. So I did read extensively that the vaccination does not mean that you cannot contract or get COVID. It just will reduce the mortality rate. So most likely, if you are fully vaccinated, meaning you've gotten both shots, not just one, you've gotten both of the two shots, that you'll have less symptoms if you happen to contract COVID, and hopefully and prayerfully you will not have some unfortunate, those, you don't of course want to pass away from anything, but not from COVID as well. So they say, the medical professionals say, that the vaccination just lowers the mortality rate, and also in some cases can help reduce the symptoms of COVID if you happen to catch it. Hopefully, prayerfully, you guys won't, who are watching. Me and my family will not anymore. So just putting that out there. Um, you may also wonder, like, do I still feel nervous about COVID after being vaccinated? I won't say nervous, but I will say I am concerned because the vaccination was not necessarily like 100% proof. So with me having that knowledge and understanding, I still I still abide by social distancing. Like, even like I went to a 4th of July thing in the park, and I'm sorry, not Fourth. Yeah. Sorry, Fourth of July thing in the park. And even with that, thankfully, the lawn area I was in, it was like enough space where everyone was spread out. I was very thankful that people were still conscious of social distancing, even in that type of space and event. So, yes, I have still been social distancing. I absolutely still wear my mask when I go to the grocery store, if I go to any outings or anything of that nature. Yes. If I happen to go to a restaurant, I still, will be conscious of where the waiter sits me. I still like try to watch out and make sure that I'm not too close to anyone or within, less than 6 feet of another party. If it's a large group or party, I try to have, the waiter sit me somewhere where it's less people. So still very aware, still very conscious of that. Now, I would like to speak to my fellow members of the Black diaspora. I do understand from speaking with a lot of fellow minorities and those in the Black community why some of us are very suspicious or not comfortable, apprehensive, if you will, of getting the vaccination. For those who do not understand, those who may not be aware of the history, a lot of us remember the history of the Tuskegee Project, where the government used a lot of African Americans to test how our bodies would react to the syphilis virus. Throughout history, a lot of African Americans and even those, of the Black diaspora around the world, unfortunately, have been used as guinea pigs for science and scientific experiments in the past. And so I do understand, why a lot of people in my community may be apprehensive about getting the vaccination because of past historical traumas that we still talk about and still remember as relevant today. But I do want to say that if there were not vaccinations, we would still have very active polio numbers in the world, chicken pox, a lot of things that Spanish flu, just a lot of different things we have, as a community, we have stopped the spread of a lot of those old viruses and diseases through vaccinations. I do believe in science. I do believe that science works. I am not an anti-science person. How could I be? As an esthetician, I study the science of skin. So technically, I am a scientist and technically I am a part of the science community. But I said all that to say that it is so important for us to use the medical tools that we have in order to stop the spread of viruses and disease. I understand the lack of trust, because of other things that may have happened to you personally, even if you're not in the Black diaspora. But to be honest, vaccination is really one of the only ways that you can stop the spread of COVID, is to be vaccinated. And if you don't believe me, just look up how we were able to stop all of those other diseases that were more common in the world or even within the United States, many years ago and some centuries ago. But we do want to be mindful that we are educating ourselves properly before we make judgments, statements, and those types of things. I'm not a big conspiracy theory type of person. I like to do my research. I like to read for myself. When I have questions about things, something doesn't sound right, I do like to do my own research. And I would encourage you guys, my fellow compound members, do the same. Do your research. Don't just go off of what, someone tells you. Don't just listen to Uncle Bubba, who is suspicious of vaccinations. Do your own research. And I believe that you will have better peace of mind when it comes down to just getting vaccinated for yourself. Another thing that I think is highly important and why you should embrace and go and be vaccinated is because COVID-19 is mutating. It's not hearsay. It's not a guess. It's mutating. Now, scientists and the news are talking about the Delta variant. And they're saying the Delta variant is just as, if not more contagious than chickenpox and other major diseases that are happening all over the world. So, with that being said, we want to stop the mutation of this virus. And I believe if we all come together as a world community with your family members, your church community, wherever you may feel that you are a part of a group and a community, if we are wise and protect ourselves, doing the proper steps of social distancing, wearing our mask when we are out in public spaces where where other persons or crowds or what have you are congregating, just just to protect yourself. You just want to be careful. And I just believe wholeheartedly from the data and the research that this is how we're going to stop this virus from continuing to mutate and spread. But we have to do our part. I get it. I understand we all are ready to get back to life as usual, our parties and our festivals and this and that. I get it. And I'm not saying don't attend your festivals and this and that. But what I am saying is there are ways that you can be safe about it. You can still social distance. If you go to somewhere and it's just completely packed where you're shoulder to shoulder before you enter that place, make a judgment for yourself and your family. Could this space put me at risk of getting ill or even passing the COVID virus on to a loved one or a child or a coworker or what have you? We have to get away from thinking me, and think community. Think about the global community. Think about everyone else that can be affected by your lack of care. We want to get back to caring for one another and not just thinking about ourselves. And that's, as a whole, love and caring and empathy is what is going to get us back to a more safer place as a global community. And I wholeheartedly believe that. So if you guys have, if you are a medical professional and you want to expound more on the importance of vaccinations, feel free to leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. If you have the knowledge, the medical knowledge, I welcome that. I welcome education. I welcome facts. I welcome those who want to just, talk about more of the importance of vaccinations. And if you have any skincare questions, anything like that, of course, you can leave a comment for me. I love to read you guys' comments, and I love to see you guys share my videos and like them. It just warms my heart when I see that, because I see that like, share, and subscribe to me equals support. It means that you guys, as my compounders, you support me, and I love you, and I appreciate you for that. Any makeup products that you guys may see me wearing in a video and you might want to grab it, I leave links in my descriptions. You can use my links, purchase your products, and continue to represent Gege's Beauty Compound. I love it. Of course, I love you guys. Ladies and gents, thank you so much for joining me again for Gege's Beauty Compound. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ding that notification button. I'm also available, you guys, on Instagram and TikTok. So share a few laughs with me. You can join me on those platforms as well. Thank you guys again for joining Gigi's Beauty Compound. I love you. I thank you. Please get vaccinated. Bye-bye.